What if Ash started with Clefairy? How would that affect the universe? What would end up changing? Would Pokemon really be vastly different if Ash Ketchum started off with Clefairy instead of the iconic Pikachu? As we all know, originally Pokemon was going to be vastly different. Many PokeTubers have talked about this, from me, myself here, talking about it in a Capsulemon video, to many other theories out there, discussing and detailing how Pokemon was going to be vastly different. This cute, cuddly, yellow electric rodent, not gonna be Ash's partner for today's video at the very least, and the reason behind that change is that due to the simple fact that Pikachu stuck out. It was yellow. Cartoon characters from back in the day, there weren't really a lot of them that were colored yellow. When you saw Pikachu from a distance in this shape and with this color, a lot of people were able to identify it easily. That's what the producer said. Let's remember that Pokemon was developed in the 90s as well. Even though we got Pokemon in 1998, Japan got it in 1996, that doesn't mean that Pokemon wasn't in development much earlier than that. Pokemon was actually in development in the early 90s, as in like 1990 with a zero, not the 90s. 1990 was when the concepts were first being developed for it, pitched, and things like that. It took a while to get accepted, but the point was that times were different. So having a lead male protagonist with a Clefairy, a pink, cute, cuddly Clefairy, would not have gone over well with the demographics. This is probably another reason why producers decided to change Ash Ketchum's partner Pokemon to a more easily identifiable Pokemon like Pikachu. With that said, who knows? Things might have been different if Ash Ketchum was a girl and he had a Clefairy. I wonder if that show would have been as successful as what we have currently. The change, though, to Pikachu actually did come fairly late, which means that things were almost completely different. So, what if Ash Ketchum did have Clefairy? How would that change the universe? Would that even change the universe instead of having our iconic Pikachu here? Well, fine viewer, sit right down, brew yourself a cup of tea, or get yourself a soda if that's something you'd rather have, and let me tell you about how the universe of Pokemon would completely change if Ash Ketchum had a Clefairy. Now please note, this doesn't take into context any other characters like Red, or the manga, or the adventures, or side stories. This is just the main canon anime, Ash Ketchum having a Clefairy. And I apologize, I don't really have a Clefairy doll, so hey, I'm sorry. I'm not sure why, because Clefairy is one of my favorite Pokemon there are. With all that said, there's two ways we can go about this. The first way being that Ash Ketchum could have been given Clefairy from Professor Oak. Why would Professor Oak have a Clefairy? How does it even fit in with the starter Pokemon? It doesn't, and at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because it could have just been left over from his adventures. Again, Professor Oak could have pretty much caught all the Pokemon, and we never know, honestly, so it really doesn't matter how or why Professor Oak has it. Again, why would Professor Oak have Pikachu, Charmander, Squirtle, why? It doesn't matter. These are just the starter Pokemon. So, Ash could have gotten a Clefairy from Professor Oak. Or, the second way is that Ash could have caught one at Mount Moon and replaced his starter Pikachu with it for whatever reason. Now that would connect the canon and be more congruent with the canon anime, but at the end of the day, I really don't think that would be the way that things would happen. Though, if you would like to pursue that path, let me know in the comments below and leave me a big thumbs up. I can do that story as well. After Ash received his Clefairy, Clefairy wouldn't be so disobedient. So all of the events that were occurring within the show, within the first episode even, wouldn't occur. So Ash would be able to catch that Pidgey. Ash would be able to capture many other Pokemon along the route. If you remember, he saw several of them, but he just didn't have a chance to capture them. And he wouldn't encounter Misty. There would be no reason for him to encounter Misty. As he arrived in the first town, which would be Viridian City, he would not be late. He would actually arrive early, so early that he would not even encounter Team Rocket. Having several Pokemon with him, he would just heal the Pokemon up, and he would continue on his adventure as if nothing would happen. Again, when he was in the first episode, he was passed out and he slept a long time. So that's why he would encounter Team Rocket in the first episode, but not now because he has Clefairy, because none of those events would end up happening. Even if he did meet Team Rocket somehow, it's not like they would be able to battle him, or there would be no reason behind them battling him. He would have a rare Pokemon, yes, Clefairy, but with that said, you understand that they were pursuing Pikachu because it was exceedingly rare and powerful to them. So Clefairy wouldn't be the same. So even if he did end up meeting them, it would be kind of a one-off encounter. Maybe they would pursue him one more time or meet up randomly, but at nothing to the degree of which Pikachu was when they were pursuing him over Pikachu. As Ash would travel, he would meet up with several other Pokemon, be able to capture them because, again, he had a Clefairy that would listen to him, and he already had captured several other Pokemon. And as he would be going through Viridian Forest, he would more than likely find a Pikachu anyways and just capture the Pikachu there. Though it definitely would be different than the original one in the original anime series. Upon reaching Brock in Pewter City, Ash would battle him for his first gym badge, but things wouldn't play out the same as they did originally. Brock wouldn't join Ash and travel with Ash because, again, there would be no mercy against his Onix with the sprinkler system, Thunderbolt, supercharging Pikachu, because he doesn't have Pikachu. With that said, Ash would continue on to Mount Moon and perhaps find a Moonstone and probably evolve Clefairy, because at this point in time, Ash doesn't feel the need to keep his Pokemon unevolved. The only reason he had done that before is because Pikachu wanted to retain the way he was, and that in the episode where he was battling with Lieutenant Surge, he wouldn't evolve Pikachu because he was trying to prove that Pokemon don't need to evolve to get stronger, that they can get stronger in their current forms and overcome the challenge. It was kind of a life lesson that the writers were writing in, rather than something that would actually happen in the anime. In this instance, Ash wouldn't have anyone with him, so that he would probably just evolve it into a Clefable and continue on to the second gym. In which case, once he arrived at the second gym, the same thing would happen in the show, except minus the whole Misty battle, the Team Rocket thing. He would just get the badge. He would just be given the badge because he wouldn't want to battle just one Pokemon, one weak seal Pokemon, as the trainers had said before. Again, he wasn't necessarily late, but the other trainers probably would have been ahead of him still just a little bit because they left ahead of him, meaning that he would be able to get the badge just given to him. At the third gym, Ash would struggle because once again, the Pokemon he had acquired weren't the best Pokemon in the world, but he would be able to overcome Lieutenant Surge because he had Clefable. Clefable pretty good with special defense, and Raichu is more of a special attacker. Even though Raichu had Mega Punch and Mega Kick, that Clefable would have been able to take down Raichu without any problem, just due to the simple fact that it was an evolved Pokemon versus another evolved Pokemon, and Ash had several other Pokemon that he would use in the battle as well. The important thing to note about this big change is that even though Ash would continue, his side adventures wouldn't occur. No St. Anne, no Team Rocket encounters, no Hidden Village, and also no Charmander, Squirtle, Bulbasaur. None of these Pokemon, not even a crap. But as Ash would continue, he would capture all the Pokemon in the areas that he would pass through. I'm not saying that he would be able to evolve all of them or catch every single one of them, but if he was passing by and he saw a Mankey or a Nidoran, he would just capture that Pokemon and battle it, and he would become more stronger, and he would battle other trainers as well. As Ash would continue, he wouldn't get kicked out of the fourth gym this time. Instead, he would be invited in because the women in the gym would absolutely love his Clefable and invite him and take him straight to Erica. Overcoming that gym wouldn't be difficult either because Ash would just go to the outskirts of the city and capture a Growlithe or a Vulpix and have a type advantage if he didn't already. Continuing on, Ash would enter the Safari Zone as he did, and this time he would capture multiple different amounts of Pokemon. He wouldn't be constrained to just one adventure. He would be able to capture multiple Tauros, and he would also be able to capture a Kangaskhan and a Chansey, two Pokemon at which he would consistently be using within his team, along with Tauros as well. This would make him more kin and more accustomed to using normal types and breed kind of an affinity for using normal types. As he continued his adventure on, he would continuously capture different Pokemon, eventually capturing a Ditto as well. And again, this reinforces the notion that because he was so skilled with using Clefable as starter Pokemon, he would be able to use these other normal type Pokemon just as well because they weren't a different element. He would know exactly their limits, and the typing normal would be a little bit easier, a little bit more basic for him as a trainer to use that type of Pokemon. which would lead him to using other normal type Pokemon as well. And he can acquire different technical moves to teach them, like Thunderbolt, Fire Blast, maybe Flamethrower, or Hyper Beam, or even Ice Beam. And this would make up for the elements that he would lack within his team, because his normal type Pokemon would be able to learn these moves. For the upcoming battle with Sabrina, he wouldn't use comedy or jokes, which is, again, a pretty ridiculous premise if you ask me. I never really liked that episode, but I understood the lesson that it was trying to teach. Again, he would just go to the Pokemon Tower, get a Ghost type, and battle her. And because Ghost types were really OP back then, and they didn't really flesh out their design or the way they worked properly, within the anime, a Ghost type would just instantly defeat a Psychic type, because for whatever reason, Psychic attacks didn't really affect Ghost types. It's not really how it works, but that's how it was in the anime, so Ash would just get the badge from Sabrina and move on. No life lesson, no changing her, just get the badge. Turning to his normal types, he would continue on and beat Koga and Blaine. Once again, he would find Blaine's gym because he really didn't have a choice. He couldn't really go anywhere else since he was stuck on that island, and he would just figure out the riddles and find the gym anyways, and battle Blaine with what Pokemon he needed. If he couldn't use his normal type team, he would probably just catch a couple Tentacool or other water types in the surrounding areas and just use, water attacks to defeat Blaine with. Finally encountering Giovanni, Ash would battle Giovanni and overcome several of his Pokemon, only to be stalemated with a Mewtwo. Again, because Ash would have a Ghost type with him, it means that it would end up being a stalemate. There's nothing that Mewtwo could do against the Ghost type, and there's really nothing the Ghost type could have done against Mewtwo. So after a short time, Giovanni would become bored, probably be called away for some business with Team Rocket, and just throw Ash the badge for his efforts anyways. And because this was the 8th badge, Ash would accept it anyways. Ash, now being in possession of the 8 badges, would return home to his pallet town, inform Oak of his adventures, and be praised, being told that he was a pretty solid trainer. With Oak's assistance, Ash would be able to acquire an Eevee as well as a Porygon to round out his normal team, and continue training for several months until the upcoming Indigo League tournament would take place. With Oak's knowledge, Ash would be able to continue training and capturing several Pokemon as he did, training his normal types up to level 60 until it was time for the tournament to begin. And as Ash would venture into the tournament, he would encounter several trainers and overcome them very easily because of the amount of time that he had to train with his rounded out team. His rare normal types were skilled. They had multiple TMs, different things to balance out his team, and he was able to counter and overcome basically any trainer. Even the strongest dragons, from Dragonite to Charizard, couldn't take down his team of normal type Pokemon. Ash would stand alongside Eevee, Porygon, Kangaskhan, Tauros, Clefable, and Ditto as he won his first Poke League challenge, retiring home, discontent that he had yet to capture them all, but happy that he had a victory under his belt. He would be tasked by Oak to go collect on a special Pokeball from a set of islands. If you guys think things would have gone different or have a different scenario to pitch, leave it in the comment section below. Let me know if you enjoyed the video with a big thumbs up, and leave a comment why you enjoyed the video. As for me, ladies and gentlemen, I've been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. As always, good gaming, God bless, and once again, thanks for watching.